Hello everyone, my name is Wynn, and I'm here today to give you an in-depth and concise tutorial for how to install Skyrim Script Extender by Ian Patterson, Stephen Abel, and the rest of the amazing and tireless Skse team. A huge thank you to them in particular for helping keep one of my favorite games alive many years after its initial release. And with that, let's just jump right into it. The first thing that you'll want to do, if you haven't already, is install the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. I personally am running the special edition version of Skyrim, but this method works for older players as well. If you already have your game installed, make sure your game is updated to the most recent version. If your updates are set to update on launch, just launch your game. And if they're automatic, your game should already be set. Currently, I am doing a complete clean reinstall of the game. Whether you're reinstalling like I am, or just updating, I recommend disabling the desktop and start menu shortcuts for the default game launcher. This is because Skse needs to be launched from its own separate launcher. If you primarily play your Skyrim with mods, like I do, then you'll probably want to get rid of any shortcuts that you already have, either in your start menu or on your desktop. That way you don't accidentally launch the game from one of those. Now, I'm just installing in the default Steam folder here. Nothing has to change here, so go ahead and click Next. Hit I agree, and begin downloading your game. Next, you're going to want to head over to the game bar on the left and right-click on Skyrim. You can do this while the game is installing, and scroll down to Properties. Click on the Updates tab. Whether you've already installed your game or not, make sure that this is set to only update this game when I launch it. This will prevent any updates from Bethesda's Creation Club from breaking your Skyrim Script Extender. This way, if you only launch your game using the Skse launcher, your game will not receive an update, and your mods will continue to function. I highly suggest this setting because sometimes the script extender is not updated to fit the newest version of Skyrim right away. If your game versions and Skse versions don't match, you'll be unable to play your game until there is an Skse update. Not only will this save you the trouble of waiting for an Skse update to play your game, but it'll save you the trouble of rolling back your game versions to keep things working. I plan on making a tutorial for rolling back your game at a later date, but it's better just to avoid it. Now I'm going to let my game finish installing. In the meantime, I'll show you what else we need to get Skse running. Now before I install Skse, there is another tool we will need that's called 7-Zip. You may already have it, or you may have a similar application. This handy little tool will allow you to extract zipped files. I'll link it in the description. Not only will you need it for Skyrim Script Extender, you'll also need it to use many EMBs and other mod files that need to be manually installed. Now I already have this installed, so I won't be downloading this today, but if I were, I am using the 64-bit version of Windows 10, so I would download the 64-bit version. Installation of 7-Zip is near instant, so don't worry, it won't take long. Just go ahead and hit that download button, and you should be able to run it just like any normal basic application. Now we're ready to download the Skyrim Script Extender, or Skse. The classic build version listed here is for older users, or those of you still playing the original or legendary edition of Skyrim. And just below that is the SE version, for those of us using Special Edition. This is the version that I will be installing. And the final version on the list is for people playing with VR or in virtual reality. Before installing the newest Skse, be sure that it matches the version of Skyrim that you have. If Skse is out of date, then we must unfortunately wait until there is an update. In order to begin the installation, click on the appropriate version's 7-Zip archive. It should go into your download folder as a zipped file. Head over to your downloads folder and view your most recent downloads. Right-click on the Skse file and use the drop-down menu to scroll down to 7-zip. From here, you're going to select Extract to SKSE64 and a series of numbers. And 7-zip will extract your files and place them in a brand new unzipped folder in your Downloads menu. Alright, now head back over to Steam. We need to get to the root file folder for your Skyrim, located in your Steam apps. Once again, right-click on the game title in your game bar and scroll down to Properties. This time, we're going to open the Local Files tab. Check the Browse Local Files, and that will bring you to your Skyrim root directory. Now it's time to return to the Downloads folder and open that unzipped SKSE folder. You're going to select all of the files listed inside, besides the other folders. Highlight them and copy them. You can also use the drag and drop system, but I prefer this method. Now you can return to your Skyrim Special Edition directory and just paste the files right into your directory here. Just like that. Alright, so now things get a little bit more complicated. Head back to your unzipped SKSE folder, highlight Data, and right-click on it. Scroll to 7-zip, and select Add to Data.7z. That's going to archive that folder as a file. Now you're going to rename that file. Now you can name it whatever you like, but I generally like to rename it something that I'll easily remember, like SKSE64 scripts. Now you're going to open your mod manager of choice. For me, that's Vortex. Select your scripts file and drag it over to the drop file box, or if your manager allows copy and paste, that works too. Now your SKSE is being managed with the rest of your mod list. Alright, now remember how early in the video I mentioned that you would need a separate game launcher while using SKSE? Head back to your Skyrim root directory folder. There you'll find a file called SKSE64 loader. We're going to highlight that file and right-click it. Scroll down to Send to, and select Desktop to create a shortcut. So as you can see, we now have a shortcut for SKSE on our desktop. But I want to make a few changes. These are completely optional. To rename your launcher icon, right-click on it, head to Rename, and name it whatever you like. I'm naming mine with the same format as my Fallout launchers in the upper right corner. As you can see, I also have script extender launchers for Fallout 4 and New Vegas. I play a lot of Fallout and Skyrim. That's pretty close to how I want it, but I also like to assign an image file to my desktop icons. To do this, right-click on the icon, go to Properties, and select Change Icon. It will likely give you a warning, but just ignore it. It doesn't affect anything. Hit Browse, and head back into your root directory for Skyrim one more time. My root directory has already been pinned to my taskbar over here, so it's very easy for me to access it. Double-click the original Skyrim SE launcher. It will open the image file for that launcher. Now hit OK, Apply, and OK. And now you have a proper SKSE launcher. Congratulations! Now one of the last things you'll need to do is return to your mod manager. You'll want to select the script file that you dropped in earlier. As you can see, I have an outdated version of my scripts file down here. I'll remove that later. We're going to ignore it for now. It does no harm while it's disabled. I'm going to take my current scripts file and assign it to the appropriate category for my load order. For my LO, that's Master Files. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and enable it. And with that, we should be able to launch our games using the SKSE launcher. So let's give it a shot. Alright, well, now let's launch the game. Usually, if you haven't done something correctly, you won't even see the Bethesda logo, so we're off to a pretty good start. Alright, now, just to make sure Skyrim script extender is working, we're going to hit the tilde key to bring up the in-game console. It's right next to the 1 key on the left top corner of your keyboard. Now, all we have to do here is type in get Skse version as one word and hit enter. The console responded with Skse 64 version 2.0.16. For me, that's correct. If you're watching this video sometime after I've uploaded it, this version number may be different than the one I have. Just make sure it matches the one on the Skse website linked below. And that's it, everyone. That's how to install Skse. Links to everything are in the description below. Thanks very much.